Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a trouble code that can be a real head scratch. P0560, which stands for System Voltage Malfunction. It sounds simple, but it can point to a few different issues. So, if you've got this code popping up on your scanner, stick around. We're going to break down what it means, what causes it, and how you can track down the problem. First things first, what exactly is P0560 telling us? Your car's brain, the engine control module, or ECM, is constantly monitoring the vehicle's electrical system voltage. It needs a steady, reliable power supply to operate correctly and manage everything from your engine to your transmission. A P0560 code gets set when the ECM detects that the system voltage is either too high or, more commonly, too low for a specific period of time. Think of it as the ECM raising a red flag saying, "Hey, my power source is unstable, and I can't do my job properly." This isn't just a minor inconvenience. Fluctuating voltage can cause all sorts of weird, intermittent problems with your car's performance. So, what are the usual suspects behind a P0560 code? Well, the most obvious and common culprit is a weak or failing battery. If your battery can't hold a proper charge, the system voltage will drop, especially when you're trying to start the car. Another major player is the alternator. The alternator's job is to recharge the battery and power the electrical system while the engine is running. If it's going bad and not producing enough voltage, the battery will slowly drain, and you'll get that P0560 code. But it's not always the big components. Don't overlook the simple stuff. Corroded, loose, or damaged battery terminals and cables can create high resistance, preventing proper current flow. A bad ground connection between the engine, body, and battery negative terminal can also cause a whole host of electrical gremlins, including this code. In some cases, the problem might even be within the charging system wiring itself. Frayed wire or a loose connection to the alternator can disrupt the voltage. And though it's less common, a faulty ECM could be misinterpreting the voltage readings. But you should always rule out everything else before condemning the computer. When you get a P0560, you might notice a few symptoms. The check engine light will obviously be on. You might also see a battery or charging system warning light on your dashboard. Your car might be hard to start or won't start at all. You could also experience flickering lights, a stereo that cuts out, or even engine stalling, as various modules don't get the stable power they need to function. It can be a bit confusing because these symptoms can seem random and unrelated at first. Alright, let's talk diagnostics. How do you pinpoint the problem? Start with the basics. Grab a multimeter, it's your best friend here. First, check the battery voltage with the engine off. A healthy, fully charged battery should read around 12.6 volts. If it's below 12.4 volts, it's low and needs charging. If it's below 12 volts, it might be on its way out. You can take it to most auto parts stores to have it load tested for free, which is the best way to confirm its health. Next, while you're at the battery, inspect the terminals and cable ends. Are they clean and tight? Look for that fuzzy green or white corrosion. If you see any, disconnect the battery negative cable first and clean the terminals and clamps thoroughly. With a wire brush, a good, clean, tight connection is critical. Also, follow the main ground cable from the battery to the chassis and the engine block. Make sure those connections are clean and secure too. Now, let's test the alternator. Reconnect the battery, start the engine, and let it idle. With your multimeter connected to the battery terminals, you should see the voltage rise to somewhere between 13.5 and 14.5 volts. This indicates the alternator is charging the battery. If the voltage stays down around 12 volts, or is excessively high, like over 15 volts, you likely have an alternator problem. Rev the engine a bit and see if the voltage remains stable. A significant drop or spike points to a faulty voltage regulator, which is usually internal to the alternator. If the battery and alternator check out, your next step is to inspect the wiring. Look for any visible damage, corrosion, or loose connections on the main power wire running from the alternator to the battery, and any smaller wires connected to the alternator. A wiring diagram for your specific vehicle can be a lifesaver here. So, to recap, P0560 means your car's main computer is unhappy with the voltage it is receiving. Start your diagnosis with the simple stuff. Check, clean, and test your battery. Then, move on to testing the alternator's output. And don't forget to inspect all the related wiring and ground connections for any signs of trouble. By following these steps systematically, you can usually track down the source of that pesky P0560 code and get your car running reliably again. I hope this guide helps you out. If it did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more DIY auto repair tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.